Okay, we're on.
Yay.
Hey, everybody who's not here yet. Me and Alice, and we're gonna talk about Flat Realm Activism.
Yay.
Stuff we can do. Stuff we can do. I'm kind of geared up to start making some action.
I think that's where we have to be right now. I think the time for just researching and, figuring stuff out is kind of past,
Yep.
I mean, we're never going to stop doing that, but that being our main focus, I think we're past that. I think this is the time for action. I feel it deep inside me, action, I feel the fire within me that it's time to do stuff.
Yeah,
And a big
and I
part of
feel
that
like
is
it's
connecting.
simmering.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, connecting
Yep.
is part of it, and I mean, some people are asking for a plan. I think a plan is mm, not really a good
That's a
idea because
hard
plans
one.
can be foiled.
Right. And that's, I've had the same thing. And, it's like, there's people that look at you and they want you to hand them the answers, and to those people I say, like, you can join us and we can figure it out, but if you're waiting for us to tell you how we're going to do this,
Hmm.
what are you doing?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
part of my
not that I'm not trying to figure it out, and not that I don't have ideas, but I mean, everyone has to be doing the work, We all got
yeah,
to be pulling their weight.
we can't be looking to any one person to solve everything, which is
Have the
the major
answers. Yep.
problem. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's the major problem I have with uh, first of all, Christianity, thinking that Jesus is going to save everybody.
Yep.
A lot of people think that when they come to Jesus and they don't have to do anything because Jesus is going to take care of it all.
Right. Yeah. Any of the monotheistics, yeah, that there's going to be, the answer from one God. He's going to be the one that fixes
Messiah.
it. Yeah. One
Right.
God's going to fix it.
And that
Yeah.
and that relinquishes your responsibility and
Right.
also doesn't solve the problem because each of us has work to do,
Right. Inner work.
starting with ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and inner work. And
Yeah.
that's a
If you
big part of the
haven't been
process.
doing inner work, yeah. If you haven't been doing
Pardon?
inner work already, then you may be behind. And
Yeah.
you may want to play catch up, like some serious catch up. Not
Yeah.
being a dick, I'm just saying you may be a
No,
little
it's a
behind.
fact. It's a fact, and
Yeah.
that is part of the process is that you have to do the inner work. Okay, so what is inner work? Inner work means that you have to first of all conquer all your fears, and we're talking about these
Mm-hmm.
intangible fears, not instinctual fears where your life is threatened,
Right.
but these intangible fears that have to do with like ego fears.
Yeah. Yep. Ego is one of
And
the
you have
biggest things, is, all the things that have to do with ego are the things that I want shredded. Anything that connects me to
yeah,
ego, I want to be challenged so I can destroy it. It's been
yeah.
my biggest focus over the last 2 years, is to destroy my ego.
Yeah, a lot of my ego shattered after I came to Flat Earth because I was like, well, damn, everything's a lie. what,
Yep.
what the hell? What is going
Yeah.
on here?
Yeah. Yeah. And ego will take
It
you
just,
down every time too. It's one of our biggest enemies, is our ego.
it is. And I'm not saying mine's all gone. It's
No,
impossible
nor
for it to
mine.
go
Yeah,
completely
yeah. And I think
because we need it here.
yeah, but I think that it is, I think it's part of the false overlay of this
Mm-hmm.
place. I
It
don't
is.
think it's natural, but because because of the way that this place has, because of how it's become, because of that overlay, we also need it to survive the matrix, like we need this piece of the matrix to survive the matrix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I just, I'm gonna share this crazy thought I just had.
Hmm.
So, you know how there's this cosmic egg,
Mm-hmm.
and you were talking about the overlay. The cosmic egg is the overlay, and we're
Oh,
each in our own individual eggs. And so, egg is ego, and we have to let
ooh.
go of the ego. So, Lego my ego.
It always comes back to 80s TV. Always, always,
Yeah.
always does. Man, I knew
Yeah.
it. Lego my ego.
Okay, so what's the deep hidden message in Mikey Likes It for
I
Life
knew you were
brand
going to say
cereal?
Mikey likes it. I knew it. I freaking knew it.
Uh,
I knew it. Uh,
if you got any suggestions in the chat room?
gotta figure out what the anagram of Mikey is. Is Isis
uh,
hidden in Mikey somehow? Or
there is one actually. Uh,
you
I can't
know,
remember what it is.
there's like some Egyptian god name hidden in there. There is, and that's
Hey, Antonio Subarat, Richard Lee Burke, Beck Drew. Hey,
oh
peeps.
my god,
Thanks for coming.
how's it going?
Yeah, there is some kind of hidden message in the word Nike, which is similar to Mikey. So I don't
Hmm.
know. There's got to be something in it.
No doubt, no doubt.
Hey, there you go, Antonio, Mikey, Wicked, kind of upside down and reversed,
Oh, oh, I see. Okay, I see. All right.
and then life, the lie, life. Anyway, whatever. There's something in there.
It was life cereal. Yeah,
I had a dream a few weeks
interesting.
ago. Hairbrain says, I had a dream a few weeks ago. My coffee mug said Lego my ego with the definition of ego on the other side of the mug. Hey, what are the odds of that?
See, see, see.
Hmm.
Oh,
Thanks, Hairbrain.
about an ego,
Yeah.
destroying the ego.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's definitely getting rid of the ego and your fears, your ego-based fears. Those are huge. Dealing with your issues, unresolved issues. That's part of the inner work as well.
I was having
Like
these
relationship issues.
conversations with people years back. I mean, I remember having these conversations like back with roommates, back in like early 2000. We had a roommate, me and my ex-husband, that had massive panic attacks. And I had figured out that most people's panic attacks were connected to a fear of dying, and
Hmm.
that most fears were really just a fear of dying. That if you were afraid of flying, that it was really just a fear of dying. that if you were afraid of heights, it was just a fear of dying. And that if you could just what dying actually was, you could conquer your fears and therefore conquer your anxiety. It was
Mm-hmm.
that simple. Um, and I know because I did it. And it was that simple for me. And so I'd been sharing this since the early 90s with people. Most people didn't get it, but a few did. And I was sharing this with a roommate who was debilitated by his anxiety. He was like, I can't possibly let go of my fear of death because then what will I do? Just moment of, I looked at him differently. Like, not like he was, I knew that he was different from me. Like, that was when uh, I first recognized like the background dead entities
Background
was,
players?
mm-hmm, in that
You mean like the
moment
dead
I was
entities?
like, yeah, I was like, he's not the same, like he's not in this the same way as I am. And
Mm-hmm.
it it changed my um it changed my mm,
Perspective?
like, well, not just perspective, because it would take me like years to like really figure that out and like formulate what was actually going on, but like how much effort I would put into helping people,
Right.
feeling people out and seeing if they had like this depth, you know, because I saw it as like this sort of life depth for a long time. I didn't realize that they weren't whole, you know, that it was more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a moment for me too when I realized that not we're not all the same and that we can't help everybody.
Yeah.
That not everybody is supposed to wake up. Not everybody can see what we
Yeah.
see.
Not everyone's meant to be helped.
No.
And it's a waste
Yeah.
of time and a distraction. And that is a really bad thing to get caught up in.
Oh, absolutely, because it's a waste of energy, and they will test you. That's what trolls are
Hmm.
doing. Trolls will
Hmm.
come and they will test you because that's what they're
Yep.
programmed to do.
Yeah. Yep.
But I
Yep.
know what
They
you're talking about in terms of, sorry, what?
No, they come to see if you'll put the energy into them.
Right.
And if you will, then they'll keep at it.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And keep sucking your energy.
Yep.
So yeah, I know what you're talking about in terms of the facing death, releasing all your fears because once I realized what this place was, I kind of was like, I was like, come at me. Let's do this
Yeah.
because you're going down.
Yeah.
Really don't give a shit anymore. I don't care about anything here and I'm ready to go. Let's do
Yeah.
this. And
Yeah.
so
Once
for
you
a
lose that
while,
fear, it changes everything.
it does, but yeah, I mean, it comes and goes and it's not a permanent state. So it's something that I have to keep working on
Yeah.
because I find that it is easy to get stuck back in the matrix mind.
Yeah, I think that's true for anyone, and I think that's because it has had all of this time to understand how we work, and understand our weaknesses and the ways to get to us, because this isn't its first go round. I mean,
Mm.
the whatever catastrophes happened get civilization to where it is now, experiences most likely, I think, possibly, for the matrix, for lack of a better word. I really hate that, but I just don't know what else to call it without using like a string of words. So,
Well, it's
but
a
I
word that
think it's
everybody
had
understands.
time, yeah, it's had time to learn, and learn how humans, you know, and so we've had such a short amount of time to figure it out. It's had a very long time to figure us out.
Oh yeah, and when you think about how quickly we have come on to their game once we've seen it, it's kind of astounding that we didn't see it before. And
Yeah,
even walking around, just going through your daily life, you can't see it. It's invisible.
yeah. It shows how
Like,
many spells there are in place for us to have not seen it,
what are in place?
spells.
Yeah, yeah. And basically, the only reason it's invisible is because the majority of people don't see it, and they're not doing anything about it.
Yeah,
I mean, we see it, but because of the retaliation, going out on the streets with big signs, a lot of people are going out about flat Earth. Bless
yeah,
them for doing that, because that takes
yeah,
courage. And to go out and they're leaving signs, or there's some people who are standing in the streets talking about flat Earth, and they will stand there and talk to people and have a conversation with them to try and convince them, or at least share their knowledge. But most of the
yeah.
people who come up to
I've
them are
seen quite a bit of
mocking
that.
them.
Right.
Yeah,
They're shooting a video so that they can make fun of them on their social media,
yeah.
because it has gotten attention lately in a way that is mocking, which I made a video about, which won't die. And the attention it gets is not the kind of attention that I want,
Hmm.
and it's it's made me suspicious of my video, and every day I think about deleting it, because it's the only video of mine that has ever been pushed, ever, ever, which tells me that I said a lot of wrong things in that video.
I know I've seen it. I can't remember. Are there certain points that you're thinking that
I was
might
just
have
annoyed.
been?
Like, I was just venting, it was just one of those. Like, I didn't even mean for it to be like uh a flagpole moment, it was me venting, and I was annoyed about the attention that flat earth was getting
Hmm.
in this way that made us look stupid. That's all.
How many views does it have now?
Oh gosh, I don't know. It's up in the thousands. It's more than it should have. More than it should have. And it's still getting views every day. And I don't know why. I
Well, partly
suspect
because it has
why,
flat Earth in the
but
title.
yeah, but I have a lot of videos, and since then, since you said that, I've put it in another title and it didn't do anything. And I went back and looked at how many other ones I had in the title,
Hmm.
and it's quite a few. And it's something else about that video.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But
it does. I mean, it is a good title, but it's not like I
well,
don't have other, good titles either. I mean, there's something wrong. I did something wrong. I fucked up.
hmm. Well,
I'm
it's
sorry,
interesting
Flat
because
Earth. I fucked up.
Matt Matt and I have a bit of a dialogue going. Matt from Quantum of Conscience,
Yeah.
and he posted a video about the economic collapse will never happen,
Right. Yes.
and
Yeah.
suspicious about how well it did because
Right.
it he thought maybe he didn't because it just soared in views to
Right.
55, 60,000. It's probably close to 80 now or something. I don't know. I haven't checked lately, but mine
Right.
is only getting mine is only at 1,600 views.
Right.
So I made a video response to his, and I said, yeah, your content's accurate, but I think you left out a bunch of stuff, so I'm just going to add to it and
Right.
see where it goes and have a very
See what
similar
happens with
title.
the right, and see if it does the
And
same thing, and it didn't.
yeah, and it didn't go viral. So there, who knows what causes these YouTube bots to push certain videos over others, and
Well, that's the thing,
um,
though, is it's not all bots anymore. Is it's people now. So yeah, it's creepy people.
right?
I just assume they're creepy. I mean,
Hmm.
they may not be. I mean, some of them may be lovely, but I will just assume myself that they are creepy. If they choose to work at YouTube and comb through people's videos, I have to assume they're creepy. Not that I don't comb through people's
Yeah,
videos all day, but I do it for information, not to.
Michael G is talking about Matt. He's one of the few decent truth channels around, being an everyman and real, just like us.
Yeah,
Yes, he is, and
it is.
that's why I like him. He's
Yeah, me
very
too.
generous. Oh, thanks. Nobody knows. It's at 65,000 views now. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah, he's one of my favorite
So,
channels. Yeah,
yeah, I like him. And he's
yeah,
very passionate and dedicated to doing something and taking action.
yeah.
And
Which
there's a
I have
few
a great
truther
deal of
channels.
respect for, because most are
Hmm.
content to just continue to just talk about all the horrible things that are going to happen and not talk about what can actually be done about any of the things that are happening.
Well, that's just pushing the fear model, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's old paradigm thinking. It's gonna
right.
get them views and get their numbers up. It has nothing to do with solving the situation, nothing to do with anything genuine or authentic or helping people. It's
Yeah,
just like, I'm just gonna scare
just
you and
money
push
in
your
the bank.
buttons.
Money in the bank. Yeah, for a lot of them, it comes down to that, because
Yeah.
so many are monetized that they get caught up in the money machine, and if that's where you still live, then but you may have bigger problems. I mean, monetization is, hey, to each their own, and if you do, fine, but I hope you don't pay any attention to it. you know Hope you pay
Yeah. Well, the thing is
no
like
attention.
we all have to make money somehow, and
Absolutely.
the problem is that way of making money aside from what we're doing right now is feeding the machine. But
Yeah.
even if you make money off of this, you're feeding the machine because
Yep.
you're still making money. And yet we
Yep.
can't function in this without it.
Yep.
And so I don't really have a problem with truthers making money if it doesn't compromise their content.
Right. That's
If
the
if
biggest
it
thing.
compromises their content, I have a problem with it. Like Bro Sanchez, he makes money off of his content, but he still
Yeah.
talks about every single subject. I mean, some people have a problem with him. I don't have a problem with him. I really like his stuff, and he's an
Yeah, I do
activist.
too. I really like his stuff. I really
Yeah,
like what
he
he has to
seems
say.
full of heart, genuine,
Yeah.
and he's taking all of his free time to make videos that are so informative,
Yeah.
so rich in content, and he's so passionate and intelligent and
Yeah.
articulate. He's gifted at what he does.
Yeah. Yeah, he really
And I don't have
is.
a problem with him making money off of it. He deserves to make money off of it.
Yeah.
But it depends, you know, if he gets to the point where it's compromising his content, then you're going to have a bit of a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the biggest thing is, motivation. What's your motivation? You have to, and it doesn't matter like what you say to
Yeah.
people. That matters for nothing, because your true motivation is, it's what is going to shine through in everything. You can hide nothing from source. So if your true motivation is really about money, oh, that's your
Yeah,
true
or fame,
motivation. Yeah.
or
If
fame.
that's how you truly feel deep down, it's going to come through, and that's really going to suck, because that's something that you're really going to have to work out. um
Yeah.
i I don't think that you can be free of this place or make the kind of change that we're talking about if you are still carrying those kind of um archonic burdens, like wanting fame or money. you know if that's where you live still,
Hmm.
i
Here's the difference.
I think you're
Here's the difference
trapped.
between someone like Bro Sanchez and someone like any of the, I'm not going to name anybody because I don't want to get into that, but anybody who's at the top of the flat earth uh rectangle, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
the, these people who are solely in it for the money and the fame. So the difference between the
Right.
two is Bro Sanchez doesn't talk about money, doesn't ask for people to contribute constantly. He will mention people who contribute while he sees the mention in the chat or whatever it is that he's doing. But he does mention the contributors at the end of some of his videos. But he doesn't beg for money, and he doesn't get mad at people, and he doesn't constantly push for money. And there are other people out there who are constantly begging and pushing and
Mhm.
chastising their viewers for not contributing, and
Mhm.
that I have a problem with, because
Oh
you're
yeah, me
totally
too.
focused on money. And yes, I don't have a problem with you having a contribution page or having a Patreon page, or even saying, you know what, if you find this useful, please feel free to contribute, because I'm dedicating all my time to doing this and I need to support whatever it is I'm doing. I do appreciate your contributions once in a while.
Yeah.
But beyond that, and making it all about money and begging and all that crap, no.
Oh, it's so gross. It grosses me out. When I hear people talk like that, I get so disgusted, and
Hmm.
I lose respect. Like I really do. Like
Yeah, yeah,
if it's, and I can tell, if it's something that you mention, or, if it's something that you are pushing all the time, if it's something that you are guilting your subscribers, it's gross. It's
yeah.
gross.
It's dirty, and that is not
And
about.
it taints everything you touch.
It's not about the truth. Then
Yeah.
it's about the old paradigm thinking, and you're not
Exactly.
making any progress, and you're not helping other people.
Yeah.
Uh, and they will never ever talk about detaching from money. They will
Yeah.
never talk about taking down the monetary system. They will
Right.
never talk about ending the system because they
Right.
can't.
Yeah. They're part of it, because they're part of the
There
system.
aren't very many channels that talk about taking down the monetary system.
No. No. I hear a lot of talk about Bitcoin, and how you need to buy Bitcoin. You need to invest in Bitcoin. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Get that Bitcoin. Get that Bitcoin. Yeah. When I hear stuff like that, oh, I am so unsettled. So unsettled. So
Yeah.
suspicious. That
Oh
goes
yeah.
up on the suspicious
Oh,
shelf.
To me, any talk about Bitcoin or supporting AI,
Yeah.
um,
No
I
way.
understand that there are people who are doing it fine, but I don't like it. I think it is nefarious. I've made
Hmm.
videos on it, um, but I don't solution to anything. It's still a monetary system. It's even
Yeah.
worse because it is about tracking one another. It is about tracking transactions. It
Yeah.
is falling right into the hands of this digital control system.
Yeah. It's worse than where we're at now, It's
Yeah,
worse. It's
it is worse because every single transaction is tracked. There is no escaping it. There is no other way of you're going to have to find a way of making money independently off the Bitcoin system if you are, it is, say, an illegal alien, an illegal immigrant, or if you are, funny how they use that term, eh? Illegal
right.
alien.
I know. I know. I've really thought about that a lot this year. Like, what the hell is up with that? As the government started that
Uh,
term. So, yeah. No accident there, huh? Hmm.
well,
No accident
there's
there.
there's a lot of deliberate language being used. Like the other day, I unsubscribed from an email. I unsubscribed from an email, and it asked me if I was a bot. I had to confirm that I was not a bot. And I was like, why do I have to confirm that I am not a bot? Why is it that why doesn't it say I'm a living being?
Right.
Like, it's
What?
training us to
Right.
tell people that we are not robots.
Right. What the hell, man?
Oh, yeah.
It's the simplest things, the simplest little things like that.
Oh, yeah. It seems harmless, it seems innocuous, but then
But it's not,
it's
because
not.
it gets into your brain, and then by the time that they're have the option of bought or not bought, you've been saying it for so long that you're like, oh, not bought,
Yeah.
not bought, unbought, the anti-bot,
Well,
bot
there's
light.
bot, bot B-O-T and bot B-O-U-G-H-T.
Right. Bot and bod.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, these are the things that made my daughter think that I had finally lost my mind. I mean, you
yeah,
know,
well,
I've always been very weird, but now this stuff is just too much. So,
what, robots?
yeah, when I talked about robots and clones, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
so, okay, so this happened the other day. I was in the car with my friend and her daughter, and she starts talking about clones. This girl did a presentation in class about cloning animals, and
What?
she didn't remember all of the details, but first of all, I was kind
Typical
of
clone.
surprised that she did a presentation in class about clones.
Wow.
The Yeah, but the next thing
Can she
that
send me her
she
research?
said, well, the next thing that she said was, well, it's kind of freaky because cloning humans is not that far off. I couldn't
Uh,
keep my mouth shut. I told her they've been cloning humans for a long time. And she's like,
oh,
really? I said, yep. And
oh,
she's like,
really?
ew.
Ew. you, you got to get on YouTube more, girl.
Yeah, well, she's like 17, so I don't want to scare her
Oh
too
yeah,
much.
she's old enough to know.
For
17's old enough.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would- I
But
was a mother
anyway,
at 17.
wow. Wow.
Wow, doing it's crazy. I mean, see, that's the thing. Like, so she did research on clones and was never led to any of the information about like people who have
Cl-
spoken out about being clones or being
yeah.
cloned, I should say.
Well, this is my friend's
Which,
daughter had a classmate did the presentation. So it wasn't her who did the presentation.
okay,
It was
gotcha.
presented to her in class. But
I'm
yeah,
just,
it is kind of surprising.
yeah, there's
It was
just so
surprising
much.
that it's really prevalent, especially celebrity clones.
Yeah,
People talk about that openly.
yeah. There's a lot out there. I mean, there has been a great deal of um, censorship. Oh, I really love that breakdown. Censorship. Lately with Google and obviously YouTube, we know there's been a lot of that, but even with the research that I've been doing on clones, I've been able to find a lot. Um, you know, uh, James Casbolt and Max Spears. If you'll come across either of those two pretty quickly, and once you find them, that can lead you, pretty quickly to other people who have experienced clone memories or clone experiences. So,
Yeah,
but
it is.
every
It's
day it's getting
shockingly
worse.
prevalent.
Yeah, it's getting worse every
It
day.
is.
Really bad.
Yeah, I mean, there. When I first came to looking at clones, I didn't want to believe it
Yeah, me neither.
and thought it was more sort of sensationalistic, trash talk,
Yeah.
sort of like National Enquirer garbage, because it
Yeah.
was mostly focused on celebrities. And you can say what you like about celebrities, anybody can say anything about them.
Right. They do all the time.
But they do, yeah. But
Hmm.
after I started looking into certain celebrities and seeing the differences between pictures, and also what really convinced me was Kanye West's video.
Mm.
This video
So
before in
creepy.
other, yeah, it's freaking
Yeah.
creepy.
So creepy.
And and it disgusted me. I knew flat out that those were clones.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that video is so unsettling. I don't know how anyone can watch that and be like, "Oh yeah, they're just wax figures." No, 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 they're not. No, those are their clones, and it's disgusting. Yeah,
Yeah, it is disgusting.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm just getting another moderator in the chat here.
Clones were they were like up there with like the Luciferianism. Like they were two things that I just like did not want to believe at first. Because it just seemed so um, ridiculous to me, like I didn't
There's
believe
so much that I
in
think
that,
is
so I didn't think that, like, how can all of them be Luciferians? Like, Lucifer isn't even real. That's fucking stupid. And how the research takes you, and you find out that it doesn't matter if it's real or not. Real really has very little to do with it.
well, see, to me, Luciferianism or Satanism is kind of an all-encompassing term for
Yep.
the evil force.
Yep. Which is very real.
I right, that force is very real. Same as the
Yep.
God force is very real.
Yep.
I think it is a specific being
Yeah.
on either side. I don't
Yeah.
think there is a specific God being, and I don't think there's a specific satanic being.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think that there's, because of the continued focus on these particular energetic entities, they
Yeah.
have been given a lot of power.
Yeah, it's created, it's maybe it's more of a frequency that it's created, that it's, it's vibrating at that frequency because they've manifested it, but yeah, it's still doesn't make it a individual entity.
No, but there are a lot of individual entities that are convinced
Yes,
that they
there
are,
yes, there are. Yes.
and they themselves do have power, and they do get energy directed
Yeah.
at them through our focused attention
Yeah, I've
on our.
experienced some. Yeah, I've experienced some really weird stuff in my life. Dark and
Mhm.
light beings, and both are very, very real. Very real.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
And one thing that I'm struggling with at the moment is this AI technology. People have started talking about this Tyler character, and I've only recently started to hear about it. And yet, on the other end of the spectrum, there's Alice.
Right.
So, which is it? Whose AI is actually in control? And is the AI actually in control, or do they just want us to believe that there's an AI in control?
I don't think they're I don't think the AI is in control at all. I think they just want us to believe that. But
I think so.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's just, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, maybe that's the wrong conclusion that I've come to, but I haven't seen anything that's made me conclude otherwise. I
Well,
mean,
I've seen. I have experienced techno evil influence, which is what I call
oh yeah,
this evil force. It's technologically,
yes,
they use technology,
yes, absolutely, yes.
and so
But I don't know that that's the
I
same
don't
as the
know.
AI. I just think that they can access technology and anything that is unnatural. I think for them, it is a natural thing to access. So anything that is of technology or electronics is easy for them to manipulate, to manipulate us. And that is why they're able to do that. I don't think that it comes down to an AI, because these sort of manipulations have been going on for a really long time. Um, so I think it's more a frequency manipulation than an AI manipulation. That's where I stand on it now. I could change that at any time.
Well, what I understand Tyler to be, I don't know what Q is, and Quantum of Conscience was talking about Q today,
Yeah,
and I haven't looked into it too much because I really don't. Um, Tyler's a
yeah,
highly advanced communications AI that the CIA has been building since the 60s. So it's really like a software program that sort of thinks for itself and is trying. There, from what I understand, there's this guy. I'm not going to mention his name. Everybody knows who he is, but he doesn't like to be talked about. So anyway, he he is trying to program emotions and feelings and love into Tyler. Um,
mm,
but anyway, I don't want to talk too much about it because I really don't like putting energy to this thing.
yeah. Yeah,
Um,
for real.
and I think that we should be able to talk about it freely, regardless of what this other person says. Um, should be any restrictions on discussing this topic, but I don't particularly want to put energy to it
Hmm.
because I think that's what they want us to do is put energy to all of this AI, this artificial intelligence, whether it is this Tyler character or Alice or
Right.
Sophia or whatever they call it. It doesn't really freaking make a difference. It's still,
Right.
to me, like this techno evil influence is a form of artificial intelligence.
Right.
However, like you say, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be this automaton, this automatically run software program that is connected to everything and running everything.
Right.
That I don't think is happening right now.
Yeah.
I don't think
I
that's
don't
what's
think
going on.
I don't think so either.
But I
It's just
do think that there is some, I do think that this techno evil stuff is ramping up.
very much so. Very much so. And they really, really want us to be afraid of this scenario very badly. I see that a great deal.
I see both sides. I see them wanting us to love it and
And fear it.
wanting us to be afraid of
Yeah.
it. What I
It's
see
it's
is
a
that
worship
they
scenario.
what I see is that they want us to embrace it because we'll become obsolete, which is what this person I was mentioning before hit of.
Mhm.
And correct me if I'm wrong because, like I said, I don't want to put too much energy to it.
Right.
But um, putting making us fall in love with robots has been going on in movies where they give these robots feelings and personification and personal traits that make you feel sorry for it.
Right.
This idea that we have to go around and say we're not robots
Right.
just to unsubscribe from an email. We deal with robots at the airport. We deal with robots at the bank. We deal with robots at the gas station. We're we deal with robots on the telephone. So we're
Yeah.
constantly dealing with robots, and so now they're telling us that if we don't catch up with these robots, we're going to be obsolete. Well, aren't
Yeah.
these robots supposed to take away our menial tasks and make life easier for us? Isn't that what they told us that computers were going to do? And it's just
Yeah.
sped up life and made us exhausted and stressed out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's actually done the opposite, basically. Now people are stressed out and worried that they're going to be put out of a job because of robots, and you need to work harder and faster, and can't get sick, can't take days off. It's yeah.
Yeah, everything is made us into robots
Yeah.
psychologically. And I think that part of that agenda is because there are robots among us,
Mhm.
but they look just like us. They
Mhm.
don't look like Sophia.
Yeah. No. No, that was intentional. you know when we had done uh a story about her in on the gathering, and someone had mentioned something about, why don't they put a wig on her, make her look less creepy, and I was like, that's the point. They could make her look more human. Do you think that
Hmm.
her having you know the brain, the wires and all that exposed is an accident? They want
No.
her to look like a robot. Hello. This is
Yep.
all about loving the robot. That
Yeah.
beautiful, Audrey Hepburn face, and the freaking, mechanical brain you can see in there. This is intentional. They are
Right.
mind fucking you like they do all the time, every minute of every day, if you are open to it.
Well, that's why our phones have Siri that has a nice, soothing, sexy female voice
Hmm.
and GPS. has also a nice, soothing, sexy female voice. So
Yep.
your car talks to you and your phone talks to you, and then your computer talks to you, and every single piece of machinery will eventually talk to you because they will be talking to each other.
Yep.
A training ground.
Yep. Yeah. People think it's great, having these things that talk to them, and you just have to yell across the room to whatever gadget and it does whatever you want it to.
Yeah.
And they're listening to you the whole time as well. Listening to you and your family,
Oh yeah.
what you do all the time, what you talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. And you were talking about that they are also watching us all the time.
Yep. All the time.
And a few other people have talked about that, saying that they're watching us all the time. It's like the Truman Show, basically.
Yeah.
Um, Mel Padawan, in the movies, someone often falls in love with a robot or android.
Yeah.
And Monster. There's also the Beauty and the Beast scenario that gets played over and over again, which is about falling in love with reptilians.
There was a movie back in the 80s that my mom loved called Electric Dreams, where the guy, like his whole apartment, I don't even remember how it got made that way or if he did it, but it was all computerized. And the computer fell in love with him. And a girl moved in next door and they started dating, and the computer got super jealous and like tried to kill him. The weird thing is, though, like my mom loves this movie, and so I've tried to find it on DVD for her as like a gift for years, and I can't find it. Like you can't find it on like Netflix, you can't find it anywhere. And I'm like, it's because it's such a negative against AI and computers. That's why you can't find it anywhere. It's and I have like this list going of movies that are negative against the system that you just cannot find.
Hmm, that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's one
I'm
of
not
them.
surprised.
Yeah.
John Doe made a comment saying that Siri is iris spelled backwards, one eye symbolism.
Oh.
That's
Ooh. Aren't you
interesting. I
clever,
never,
John Doe?
yeah, I never thought of that.
Clever. Nor have I. I had no. I have Siri turned off on my phone now because she just got super creepy and just would start talking over there on her own, and it just, yeah, saying things that were just really weird. Yeah, I just didn't like it. We had to break up.
I've turned her off too, but she still pops up and sends me messages, like opens up
Yeah.
songs while
Oh yeah, I'm
like
just waiting for that to happen. Yeah, I just turned her off like not even a week ago, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it
so
goes.
a lot of so I was watching a video about I forget now who it was, Wi-Fi and technology and how we have to unplug,
Hmm.
and that Wi-Fi is basically going to destroy us because of 5G and everything's going to be connected to the internet.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
on one hand, I mean, I understand it is incredibly harmful.
yeah.
However, we have to stay connected as well.
I know.
We
I
have to
know.
stay informed, and the only way to do that is through Wi-Fi,
I know.
unless there is some genius out there who can dig up this Wi-Fi that's harmless from Nikola Tesla's files and start putting that in place.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, they would have to already be working on it, you know, basically. I mean,
There, there's got to be
as
somebody who
much
knows how
as
to do it.
as much as I am all for completely blowing up the internet, I think that it's something that needs to happen. It just it not now. We're not there yet. We're not there yet, you know, because we are all too scattered to the wind still, you know? And at this point, without
Yeah.
our ability to connect, they could easily destroy us, you know? And that would be it. Quite easily.
Well, it's interesting to me that they haven't destroyed us already. They know who we
Well, we're
are.
stronger. Yeah, we're also stronger than them, you know? And there's that, you know. I mean,
Yeah, I know that there is an agenda behind this, behind awakening us, behind getting us
no.
to talk out loud. There is a purpose behind it.
Yeah.
And um we're we're helping push their agenda somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that when you were here, you know. What is the underlying thing about us being allowed to speak?
Mhm. Yeah.
Because
And
if
it's
they didn't
interesting because
want us to speak, we wouldn't have been allowed to even get this far.
well, exactly. And they'll mess with us,
Mhm.
but they won't take us down.
No.
Know who we are. They know what we're talking about. They know the truther channels. It's not hard to find us. And if they really wanted to take us down, they would have by now.
Yeah.
So they'll mess with us to say,
We
this
got our
is
eye on you. Yeah, like, but not to the point where they're taking us out completely like they could.
right.
My video today got thumbs down before it had any views. Yeah, I
That's really
I know. I wouldn't have even known if
quite
one
an
of my subs hadn't told me.
quite an accomplishment.
I know, right? I am gifted. I am gifted. People can hate me without even being there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, disconnecting from Wi-Fi at this point is um,
It's not an
not a
option.
good idea, just simply because this is the only way we have to connect with one another, and it's incredibly important. All of the information that we need is available on YouTube. All of the people are on YouTube. We're flocking here,
Yeah. It's not
and
like we
we
can
need.
trust the library in the US mail, you know?
Yeah, I've seen truthers go to the library and can't find anything.
Uh-uh. There's that shit there.
I'm sure if you dug, you could find something. There's certain libraries that
Yeah.
have
Yeah, a
more
few
books than
old
others.
things here and there, but that's it. I mean, it's not going to show
Well,
you
not all the information that we need comes from books. It comes from intuition,
right. And
lines.
speaking to
Hey,
other
Richard Wolf.
people and yeah, it's so much of what I
Because we have
found is
to,
because of other people, what they've shared.
right, because we have to put the pieces together and we have to read between the lines and figure out what's going on, and that's not in any book.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, technology is vital right now.
Yeah. It's really
Uh,
vital. Unfortunately, it's
no,
really vital.
Richard, new tech sunlight Wi-Fi. Can you elaborate? Do you know anything about it?
New tech
Speaking
sun.
of,
No.
okay, so speaking of the sky and all of this stuff, I started looking into these airships. I don't really have a decision either way as to what is going on up there, but it's definitely something weird.
Yeah.
There's definitely cloaking going on. There's definitely weather manipulation going on, cloud manufacturing going on. Um, the sun is replaced, obviously.
hmm I
So
told you I
some,
experienced that cloaked ship. I'm convinced, you know, like it went from like pencil to ink after that experience for me.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
don't think I'm familiar with your experience about cloak.
It was during the fires, the most recent fires here in Los Angeles, and I was shooting a video up on my roof. And you know, you've been up there at night. It's dark, but there's ambient light up there. And it was a pretty good ambient light night. And I was shooting video, and all of a sudden there was a shadow that passed over the patio part of the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the shadow, and I said in the video, like, I don't know if you guys could see that. And next thing, something blocked out all of the light, and it went completely dark. But I couldn't see what was blocking out the light, but I could feel something above me, but I couldn't see it. And it creeped me the fuck out. And I got down off my roof and I went in my house. I don't know what it was, but there was something up there.
Yeah, that's hard to mistake. I mean, it's like today, looking at the sky, I really wanted to film it, but
Yeah.
it would have been really difficult because I only have my iPad because my phone is in the. And it was freaky weird. There were about 3 or 4 different layers of clouds, maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a feathering going on.
Right.
And then there was this, what looked like it could have been a ship, was this sort of angel figure. And it was moving in an opposite direction to the other clouds in a very slow pace.
Right.
And then there were these new clouds being formed that just came out of nowhere, ripple pattern, like they were being formed out of sound waves. They were
Yep.
just parallel to each other. And then when I looked up, like I looked down to the sidewalk and then I looked back up again, and there were more clouds instantly. And it just grew from there, and it was not natural. They had horizontal lines. It was not natural at all. And
Wow.
these clouds just appear. These clouds just appear in the sky, not like they used to.
Right. Right.
It's like there's this sort of sheen over the sky, and then
Yeah.
they sort of manifest.
Yeah. I think it's hologram.
Could be.
Did it look like it could be hologram? Because I really feel like they're doing a ton of hologram practice lately.
I think what it might be, because looking at this sort of
My cat
sound
too.
ripple pattern that was happening,
Hmm.
what came to my mind in the moment was that there's some sort of um, gas that's being emitted,
Okay.
and then there's some sort of vibration that's coming out to give
Hmm.
it shape.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think that that's probably coming from some sort of device or machine or ship or whatever
So,
you want to call it
so
that's
do you
up
think
there.
these ones are like cloaked, like chemtrail type ships that um is like a different type of chemtrail ship?
Yeah, they don't create
Yeah, not the
they
crisscross
don't
lines or
create
anything. They're putting something else out there. Like,
right, they don't create these lines. They
right.
create flat, either they create these sort of feathered look
Hmm.
streams, um, uh, just there's all sorts of different odd looking clouds in the
Oh
sky that
yeah.
look manufactured.
Yeah, I've seen
So all
some
of these,
really crazy looking clouds in the skies here over the last few
yeah,
months that I just have never seen anything like them before. And the
yeah, and
layering
I
of
don't,
clouds is something that I've noticed a lot.
yeah, and today's clouds that I taped, posted on a video, it had, you had white clouds under, higher up, and then there
Hmm.
was this layer of translucent gray dirty clouds that wasn't what I was accustomed to even 10 years ago. they
Right,
they
that
aren't
was,
real.
yeah, that's when I was landing in Portland. I flew through that shit. Those
Yeah,
exact things. It was like the white clouds and then that weird gray. And I was like, what is this? Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, it's just, I can't even, it's mind-boggling.
Mhm.
There was one day that there was this ominous, heavy, dark gray, almost black cloud that was barreling over the entire city last winter, and it was low hanging,
Mhm.
and it sort of rolled over on itself. Like there were big chunky clouds, and they were repeating themselves. So there was a pattern to it,
Right.
but they looked totally unnatural, almost
Right.
like physical, like tangible, not like
Right.
fluffy clouds you could just go through.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's
I
something
showed
that
my
they
mom.
do. Yeah, there's something that is between I talked to you about this. It's between like light and physical that is it's like the stuff I saw in the UFO spotlight that wasn't light, but it wasn't physical, but it was something tangible, you know? And
Hmm.
I've seen clouds that look like they're
Yeah.
made of that same thing, that they're tangible. I feel like I could grab them the same way that spinning disc was inside of that spotlight that I told you about in the middle of that triangle ship, the government ship, basically. It was all government ship.
Yeah. So I pointed it out to my mom,
Yeah.
who, I think my mom has potential to wake up.
Yeah.
I think she's aware
I
of
think
a
mine
lot
does
of
too.
things, but she's afraid.
Yeah.
And so I pointed it out to my mom. I said, "Wow, that looks really, first of all, frightening, but totally fake, like unnatural."
Right.
And my mom agreed that it looked unnatural, but that's as far as she would go.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Like people looking at these things.
Yeah. That's like when I showed my mom
You
Stephen
still there?
Hawking. Yeah. Are you there?
My computer.
Did I lose you? Hello? 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 Am I talking to myself? I do it often. Very often. Hello? 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 Am I the only one still talking? Maybe. I think we just lost. I think we just lost Yolanda a bit, possibly. I think it's just me. I'm sorry, guys. I think it's just me. It sucks for you guys. It's just me and Poppy. she'll be back in a second. Send me a join link if Yolanda hasn't been abducted or her computer shut down. Okay. So she just has to restart. Those techno evils. We knew it was inevitable that they were going to interfere at some point. I'm surprised it took this long, really. I mean, we made it through, what, an hour? I think it was pretty amazing. We made through a whole hour. Yeah. So I was just talking about a time in 1992 where I had a really close encounter with what I had thought at the time was a UFO, because it was UFO. It was an unidentified flying object. It was one of the Black Triangle ships, which I found out later was a government ship. But it had in the spotlight that it had shone down in front of us into the ocean, because we were at the beach, was the spinning disc that was like this light, but was like tangible.
Hello.
Which, hi, there you are.
Sorry, my computer shut down. I was like, no, techno evils.
I know. I said I'm surprised it took this long. I was just talking about the disc, spinning disc thing. So, I'm surprised it took this long for them to mess with us. Really, I mean, yeah.
They mess with us in our clue.
Right. I'm surprised.
Anyway, speaking of techno evils, I did have a thought about so they communicate with us, sending thoughts and images through the television and the Wi-Fi and the radio and not only do they send messages directly through these pieces of technology, such as like flashes of images or songs, they're doing this, the technology that's in the sky, or if it's these satellites that they point at the sky, those big satellites that NASA has,
Uh,
to see that there's uh, direct communication that's going on that us,
yep.
which is odd to me when these songs are now becoming ridiculously prevalent. I've texted you almost every day now with songs that are directed at me.
Yeah. I've been having that happen for years. I mean, you saw when you were here how Johnny is like so obsessed with that, That's because of me like turning him on to that whole thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, is it completely all them? Sometimes is it Source hijacking it? Like you know, I don't know. I don't
Well,
know. I
the
don't listen to it at all anymore. That's where I'm at right now. Just don't listen to the radio or TV or anything. So I don't get any
either,
messages, but
but when I'm in a store, I can't help it.
right, you
It's
can't avoid
there.
it. Yeah, it's there. You cannot avoid it. Yeah.
So, um, okay, so Richard Wolf is asking what songs. So when I was at a couple of days before Christmas, and two of the songs were about Christmas in California or at the beach, and so that was what was on my mind was, damn it, I should have stayed in California. And then broadcast of paging Yolanda American.
That was so weird. While I was at the airport, and while I was
Yeah.
thinking about you too, like walking through the airport thinking about you, and all of a sudden, like, how often do you even hear that page anymore? Like someone being paged to the white courtesy
Hardly ever.
telephone. And I got it. I managed to get it
Hardly
on video
ever.
too, of being Yolanda American being paged to the white courtesy telephone. That
Yeah,
was
and
amazing.
then so I also got that song in the bookstore. Um, I've got I've
Yep.
gotten songs on the radio. I've asked specifically for the radio to play 3 songs, and it did. So I mean, at the time now, I'm thinking maybe it's the techno evils playing with me.
Yeah, I don't, like, my whole thing about how I thought I was going to die and that whole thing. Like, part of the reason I came to that conclusion is because of like putting it out there and asking and getting the answer via songs, because I thought that, like, I thought I was getting the answers through like the right source, and it like kind of gave me permission to sort of give up, which now looking back on everything really freaks me out. Really freaks me out,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, and so it at least like we're aware of this stuff
Right.
and trying to figure out whether uh, is it beneficial, is it benevolent, is it nefarious, or is it neutral? Is it just merely a reflection of what is going on in our minds at the time,
Right. Right.
or is it intended to a certain way?
Well, that's the other question. Like, is it your own powers? Is it you putting that out there and your own intention, shifting the frequency to cause it? You know, um,
Hmm.
which is very possible because we're all very much in a place. Most of us who are, kind of where we're at right now, are having a lot of those things happen, where we're causing things to happen, every single day, just based on our intention.
Yeah, either our manifestation powers are getting stronger, or we're just recognizing certain things connecting,
I think it's both.
or
Yeah,
yeah,
I think it's both.
that I
Really
want to
do.
try to figure out where is it coming from, and when you think about Stranger Than Fiction,
Right.
um, how it was kind of both. She was narrating based on his actions, but then he was also acting based on her.
Right.
It was kind of in tandem with each other.
Yeah.
So maybe that's kind of what's going on here, is
That's what I
that
feel
we
like.
are influenced from these external signs and symbols and that sort of thing, or you
Mhm.
can realize that you're thinking it and it's just manifesting.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Hmm. I kind of want to get back on track with the activism stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's right. We had a title.
It
A
is the
theme.
title, and so yeah, the the, the main push is uh, I think we still have a lot of awareness to generate,
Yeah.
and that's really important. But we also now have to move into connecting.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that the stages are awareness, and then dealing with your pain, dealing with
Yeah.
your internal inner work,
Yeah. Doing your own
clearing your
inner work
fears.
and cleaning up your own messes, so that
Yeah,
you're as well as you can be. You know, that's,
And I kind of feel like being untethered is really important.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and you know, I mean, as much as possible, you know, being it, you know, I talked about this in the video that I made earlier, you know, and this is hard, and not everybody can do this, but disconnecting from the system, you know, as much as you possibly can, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, not
So,
everyone can stop paying taxes, not everyone can, you know, not have a bank account, but there are a lot of ways that you can disconnect from the system, you know. These are good things.
yeah.
These are important things.
Now, Richard Wolff says, cleanse the body and the rest will follow. And I do think that there is something to be said for that. Um, my my major, like, sort of literal earth-shattering transition to coming to the truth, there were multiple stages. Really began in 2012 for me when my health started to break down, and I really had to pay attention to what I was eating by cutting out gluten and going through major sensitivity cleanse and dealing with all of that, heal my system and tend to that aspect of my life. A lot of other things got rattled and crumbled on that stage of my life. It was like the whole world crumbled almost literally, and everything in my life just and started over. And so for stages like that, that was one stage, and then I come across flat Earth, and then that other stage happened as well,
Mhm.
and you
Mhm.
had to ask for that in order to see it.
Mhm.
And so when whatever process, a lot of this process happens naturally. Things come up in your life, like these
Yeah.
issues, they will come up in your life, and you are forced to deal with them.
Yep. Yeah.
Not like you
It's so
have to go
true.
digging for it.
Yeah.
It will show up, and if you don't deal with it in the little stage, it'll get worse and worse and worse and worse until you
Yeah.
are forced to deal with it.
Yeah. You get a
Pleasant
tap
when
on
that
the
happens.
shoulder, and when that doesn't work, you get a 2x4 to the head.
Yeah, yeah. And so I think Richard Wolff is right in the sense that, yeah, you cleanse the body and the rest follows. But I think no matter where you start, as long as you start,
Yeah.
that happens naturally
Yeah.
because you start getting interested in these things. Like I can see my sister right now moving towards wanting to clean up her diet, wanting to go vegan,
Yeah.
and she's moving in the right path. So all of those things are just coming naturally, and I can see them kind of building and taking on momentum.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to be starting in that place, which I think is really interesting, but is, hey, you know, wherever it starts for you,
Hmm.
hey, you know, like, and whenever, wherever and whenever, you know, as long as it starts.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think that there's any one way to, or like, there's not one set path.
Yeah. And a lot of us did, you know, start this in 2012, you know, and I don't know why that is, you know, but it just is why there was a big wave of us that had this begin in 2012. I was one of those
Well, I think that
people.
has to do with the shift in the Earth's energy.
Yeah, I mean the frequency changed and all that, and you know, I mean
It
maybe.
forces, I mean, I've talked about this before too, is that it forces a lot of us, it forces our whole lives to fall apart. You either get seriously ill, you get divorced, you get thrown out of your home. There's something
I had a lot of those things
serious that
happen. Yeah,
a
a
lot of
lot of
that
things.
shit happened to me in 2013. All
Yeah,
like that's what I mean by my whole life falling apart. It's like
yeah,
blew up. And it's almost like the people who are supposed to wake up are kind of, they're feeling it, but they're not really sure what's going on, and then they're thrust into a
Yeah.
situation where they have to see it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that story is common among most people that I've encountered who've woken up. They had some major suffering, major trauma, unsettling.
Great
So
suffering
yeah, I
coming
think
from
that a
my
lot
heart.
of it does come
Mhm.
naturally,
Yeah.
but there's also these people who are resistant to the change. They're resistant to taking action, resistant to dealing with their internal issues.
Yeah.
And a lot of that stems too from being so focused on the material that they don't even think that there is a spiritual side. They're not even aware that there's a spiritual war. They won't acknowledge it.
Yeah. That's really sad to me, and I'm so grateful for the life that I've had, that I've been aware of that my entire life. And it's something that I've always been focused on and I've always worked on, is the spiritual side. And even the times that I really slacked off on it, I was still, even then, putting work into my spiritual side, even at
Hmm.
my lowest spiritual feeding points. I was still doing some work. So I wasn't starving my spiritual side.
Right.
I'm grateful for that.
Uh, yeah, and so Quantum of Conscience put a good video together about um, instigating change
Mm-hmm.
and what to do to save humanity.
Right. I saw that. Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to do a response video, but the techno evils have been messing with me. I did half of it, ran out of room, the toilet. I ended up recording another half of it on my iPad. Didn't like it. Like, you name it. There's been problems.
Oh God, I know how that is, man. Oh, I've had some
Yeah.
videos where it's like I just want to just go, fine, fuck it. I won't make the video, okay? Like, just fucking forget it. Are you happy now? Okay?
Yep.
Fine. Yeah. Yep, I've been
My
there.
very first video was like that. My first video ever. It was because I was so frustrated because I kept getting energetic attacks. And I didn't even know what energetic attacks were, but I was outside and tried to record something. The lawnmower next door started up, and then this truck comes along blaring country music, and then there's planes flying overhead. Like, it was nonstop.
Yeah, that wasn't my first, but it was my second, which was like my super, that's like how I met a bunch of people. It was my most viewed early videos. Yeah. Had so many issues with that video. Yeah. 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 Love the interference. There's some interferences that have been so ridiculous. Like, it's almost like the video game Frogger, where like I can almost just see the people like jumping up, like going, blocking me, I'm like, this is just absurd. Like, this is fucking stupid now.
Yeah,
I
and I
see what
think
you're doing.
well, I think part of what a lot of my commenters have said in my videos, the and you've said this too, the biggest defense against some of this shit is just to laugh at it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then it can't get to you. And sometimes it does get to you. I mean, sometimes enough is enough and you just
Yeah. There's times
take it
when
anymore.
everyone has their limit. Yeah.
And
I've
so you but if you can get to the place where you laugh at it and it's not about scaring you. It's just about not letting it affect you because you know what it is.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
good
when
place to
you,
be.
because it takes its power away when you do that, and that's really the
Yep.
key, is to take its power away, because at the end of the day, we are far more powerful. And when we laugh in its face and take its power away, that's what we're saying. We're saying, fuck you, I am far more powerful than you. You can't do shit, and I know it. You know, it's all of that in a simple energy exchange.
Hmm. They take our power away. We allow them to by reacting to it. Fall
Yep.
into those negative emotional frequencies, you can't
You've
think
immediately
clearly.
started feeding it.
Yeah, and
Yep.
you're and
And you have
you'll
immediately started feeding it, regardless of what, if you're on the correct or whatever, the negative energy is feeding.
yeah, so you fall below in the negative frequencies, they feed on it, but they also feed you.
Exactly.
And they can access your thoughts
Yep.
when you're in that negative spectrum. When you're
Yeah.
in the higher spectrum, they
Yeah.
that's only when you can access source. So this is what I'm
Yeah.
talking about, the dual mind with the source techno evil mind or the source ether and the techno ether.
You
So
can't.
we need to increase our vibration as much as we possibly can so that we're staying in the source mind as much as
Yeah,
possible.
you can't be vibrating down here. You're vibrating down here. You are still open to their access.
Yeah, and this is partly why we have to deal with our issues. So like if you have alcoholism or if you're addicted to sex or if you are succumbing to lust or those urges vibrating in a lower frequency, you have to overcome those. And
Hmm.
again, those sorts of things will start to fade away naturally. Realize how you feel once you do it because your vibration is rising. You realize that it's bringing your vibration down if you indulge in those things and you don't like it, and then you just naturally don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
It's like can't tolerate it.
Yep. Yeah. It's we give our power away, and we have to stop giving our power away.
Hmm.
And
It's
these.
a huge.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying like, holding on to our power is a huge, because that is what we have done to this point to get to this problem is we have given our power away. We've trusted authority blindly.
Yeah.
This is the authority, nothing else.
Yeah, and power is a commodity, and we've been
Yeah,
tricked into, handing this commodity away, thinking that
energy.
we're
It's
not
our
doing
life
that.
source.
Hmm.
Yeah. So this is why I talk about getting rid of the monetary system, because our life source is what is traded.
Yeah.
Our life source, money is an extension of our life source.
Yeah.
We put our into our work,
Yeah.
and that is what is traded. That is what we get paid for. And so it's kind of a negative reciprocation, if that's a word, because the people who put the most physical labor out get paid the least. The
Yeah, and
people who
that's those
use
are the only ones whose
mental
money
labor,
matters to, really, is the people who really work hard for it.
right, and the people who work a little less, maybe use their minds, they get paid more. And the people who are on the upper echelons or the upper hierarchy of a corporation get paid more because they are managing the energy of those below them. It's
Yep.
both negative and equivalent to the amount of energy that you either manage or exert.
Yeah.
The less energy you exert, the more energy you manage,
Yeah.
and that's how the balance of power is, but also the balance of money is. So the reason that money will solve this problem is because your energy is now no longer coming out of effort. It is coming out of ease and joy and love.
Right.
To Okay, Wobbly, it's just a chat between me and Alice tonight. Please don't cry.
Oh, don't
So,
cry.
so maybe we'll think about it later. Right now, like, Alice and I have had this like burning conversation in our third for a long, long time. Night, nobody knows. Anyway, getting when you get rid of money, the energy flows
Yeah.
out of love and passion and is worth more.
It completely changes the dynamic. Completely changes it.
Completely,
Yeah.
completely.
When you change the dynamic from working for money, 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 money to a barter system where you are exchanging um, goods for services or goods for goods, it completely changes the dynamic. I mean, I've done that, um, the past couple years for the most part, and it completely changes how things feel, how the things you bring into your life feel when you got them on an exchange rather than with money.
I'm not even about exchange or barter. I'm about freely giving
Well, yeah, I mean,
because I
freely
feel
giving is
like,
so much better.
yeah, free contribution, because that is the only path to abundance.
Yeah,
Whereas if you start, even trade and exchange is putting a limit on what you provide, because you start valuing what you're getting for what you're giving as much as you get, and that is still a scarcity
yeah, that's
model.
a bad. Ugh, that's ickiness. That's very ickiness.
Yeah. So if it's change regardless, then you provide things because it is in you to give it, right? So I was even thinking about this the other day. Well, then who will drive the buses? Who will clean the toilets? There are people who get a cleaning a toilet, and some people who hate doing it will not understand that. But
Yeah,
honestly, there are
yeah,
people who love it because it
yeah,
is immediate gratification and satisfaction out of cleaning. I enjoy cleaning a kitchen.
yeah,
I don't like cleaning toilets, but I like cleaning a kitchen. A
yeah,
clean eating area. I like to have things organized, and I don't mind doing it, and it makes me feel good. It makes me feel organized, and the feng shui is right, and that sort of thing.
yeah.
But
That's why I had
there are
a home
things,
organizing company. I used to love doing all that shit. Felt great.
exactly, it's in you to give that.
Hmm.
And that's why a lot of people will, that's what their gift is. Cleaning to them is meditation. Cleaning to them is joy. It's godliness.
Hmm.
There's so much in cleaning, and just because you don't like it doesn't mean somebody else doesn't like it.
Yep.
I mean, I don't like touching people's feet, but there are people out there who do it.
Yeah, there's some people
You
who
know what I
totally
mean?
dig, but there are people who are totally down for it. So,
Exactly. And so if you're
yeah.
freely giving, then everything is provided for you in total abundance. There is
Yeah.
no tit for tat. There is no scrimping and saving. There is
Yeah.
no, I
I
need to do this to get this.
right.
There is no
Yeah.
fighting. There is no warring. There's no thieving, because everything's available to you all the time.
Yeah. Everybody has what they need regardless.
Exactly.
Regardless.
And if nobody owns anything, then everything belongs to everybody,
Yeah.
right? So you can
Yeah.
say, you know what, I'm leaving my house on everything. There's no need to be protective of your shit.
Because it's everybody's and everybody cares about it. So,
Exactly.
you know, everybody
So
would.
if you leave open, people would walk in and out of your house and you'd be socializing all the time. And maybe this is idealistic, but this is like several steps down the road. This isn't immediate, but I think it might be quite rapid.
I think
Inherently
people
are
would.
like
I think
this.
people would. Yeah, I think people. That's the thing, is they have tricked us into thinking that this isn't possible, that people would never
Yes.
behave like that. But I think that's not true. I think that people are instinctively like this. You know, I
Yes.
think this is naturally how people would behave.
I think people naturally do behave like this, but because there's this idea of scarcity, people
Right.
believe that they have to look after their stuff. They have to, I mean,
They've kept people in a
nobody
state
would
of
need to
fear
work.
about their stuff, and people are going to steal from them, and people are going to kill them, and people are going to do this, and they've created this paradigm where that is the story, you know, but it doesn't have
Yeah,
to be. It's a
right.
false reality.
False. It's fear based, it's
Hmm.
anxiety based, it's scarcity based.
Yeah.
And so if there's any kind of value placed on anything other than human relationships, and that's
Yeah.
not the kind of value that you can trade,
Yeah. Precisely.
value on the wrong thing, and that system is going to fail.
Yeah. That should always be the
I'm
first
adamant.
priority, truly the first priority.
The only thing
It,
that has any true value here is relationships with other people and experiences.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I try to think of like how many times in my life I was encouraged to experience, and I'm coming up short. you know, I mean, I know that that company really, really pushed my mom when they wanted to send me away to that boot camp back in the late 80s to fix me, those boot camps that a bunch of kids died in, because the conditions and all of that, and kids starving and dehydration and all that stuff. Thankfully, my mom changed her mind at the last second and decided not to send me. Um, you know, Experiences like that seem to be fairly prevalent here. But when it comes to like experiences, positive soul, spirit enriching experiences, this place is slim on those. It's more about, work, find a career, get a job, buy a house, earn money. And we are so far off the mark that it's no wonder people are lost. Everything is so far off the
Absolutely.
mark.
Yep. And that's why
It's
people crave these conversations because of what's missing.
kill your TV. That's right, Wobbly. Kill your TVs.
Wobbly's going crazy with the banning. We're getting infiltrated by the trolls.
Get them, Wobbles. You get them.
You bash them with your hammer, troll. Wobbly, get them.
Get them.
I have a feeling Jensen's gonna get it next. And
Oh
fuckstick.
boy.
I think Wobbly's got his hammer ready.
The hammer of truth will come down upon you. Oh gosh. Yeah. So, three trolls, same person, no mercy.
Oh, there he goes.
Got him. We knew that was coming. Called it.
Thanks, Eternal Padawan. You got him. This is like the mole game.
I know.
The Basham
Whack-a-troll.
Bashamol Wacko
Whack-a-troll.
Troll.
Whack-a-troll.
Whack-a-troll.
Schmack-a-troll. See?
Yeah.
It is fun.
Yeah. And new one called Dr. Fuckstick. Okay, great.
Nice.
The trolls are out playing tonight. Hey, Coolio. Coolizo. I don't know how to pronounce your name.
Coolizo.
Coolizo.
Coolizo. I'm going with that one.
Great. There's another one. Good Day Happy Campers. There's some craziness going on in the troll chat. So we must be onto something.
Apparently, they just rushed in. Well, we started talking about activism, you know, doing stuff.
Oh, right.
All the trolls rush in.
That should be a song. When the trolls rush in.
Besides just sitting at home, you know, and which is fine too, but you know, there's a point, and we've passed the point. So, you know.
There's the
Wow. This is fun to watch.
So back to what I was saying. What was I saying? We were talking about experiences and these kinds of conversations being like sustenance and real food. It's like we're eating junk food with all these GMO foods that when we actually eat something that tastes natural and good, it's like heaven.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like eating vegetables out of someone's garden that they grew, you know, and people are like, oh my God, why does this taste so good? And it's like, because it's real food. You're eating real food.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They haven't sucked all the flavor out of those tomatoes.
Right. And so, I mean, I'm looking forward to when we have real food again, real relationships. Oh my God. These
relationships that have
fucked up male-female relationships, these love relationships are so messed up. And this was part of my awakening process when I was going through issues with my boyfriend at the time in like 2013, fell apart. I started looking up. I was like, I don't know how to deal with this. So I started looking up advice on the internet at these stupid magazines, and I realized they were all bullshit.
Right. Right. They all say the same thing.
And it was like this
under a different title. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all bad advice.
Yeah.
And they were trying to deliberately screw with us.
Yep. Yeah, it's like all the
and it was like
the romantic comedies and stuff. It's the worst possible stuff to put in people's heads about relationships. It's horrible.
Yeah. It bothers me because I see relationships on television all the time because this was the genre that I write for, you know, I like to write relationship dramas and romantic comedies.
Right.
And so that was what I was studying. Every single time any character gets into a relationship on television or in movies, they just fall into it.
Oh yeah,
it's so like, easy.
Oh yeah, it goes from like I just met you to
I love you to
we're
I
soulmates.
kiss you to
yeah.
Having sex. Yeah. They go from the kiss to sex, and then they are inseparable, and they're getting engaged, and then they get married, and they don't have any problems.
Look at fucking or if they're Pretty in Pink. Like at the prom, he's like, I loved you. I always believed in you. Like, you guys dated for like a fucking week. What are you talking about? You dated for a week and then you didn't fucking call her because you couldn't take the pressure, you dick. You always believed in her. What the fuck are you talking about, you douche?
Yeah.
This is the shit that they push, though, and they pump it like it's okay to be that sprung over a guy after a week.
Yeah.
That's normal. You should be doing that.
Yeah, but in real life, if you're like that, they call you freaking crazy and a Klingon, and they're like,
a stalker
oh, she's a
and psycho and
freaking clinger.
Right. Right, but you get this, fucked up message that says, no, that's how everybody is, Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, don't even get me started on the whole women are whores and sluts and bitches.
Oh,
You have to basically be a prude to have a relationship with a guy. Otherwise, all you're doing is having sex and you're not worthy of a relationship. I mean, it's
yeah,
just
you don't deserve a relationship
such
because you're just a slut.
bullshit.
Yeah.
And, and people, women are the worst in that
Towards each
propaganda.
other. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
especially in high school.
Oh God, it's
The rumors
terrible.
are rampant. If you had sex in high school before you were like 16, 17, you were a slut.
Yep. Yep.
It's awful.
Yeah. It's terrible. Yeah, it's
And the
terrible what we
rumors
do
were
to each
spread
other.
around.
Yeah.
Oh, and the thing I think is absolutely the worst in media, that they would rather show people murdering other people than showing people having sex.
Oh yeah.
Sex into pornography
Mhm.
and not lovemaking, and so it's become this dirty thing.
Yep.
It tainted our imagination by talking about pedophilia, by making a baby, an innocent baby on the beach running around naked.
Yeah.
It's
It's
bullshit.
really fucked up. It's so twisted. It's and to look at it and go, yeah, this was planned this way. This didn't just kind of just, oh, it just all happened like this. No, it was planned this way. We got here intentionally. We got here intentionally, and it's disgusting. And it says a lot about the drivers,
The drivers, yeah.
which is why, we can't continue to be passengers. We have to be active.
Yeah, I mean, once you realize all this shit, how can you live it? How can you continue to
Can't,
fight it?
can't.
But there are people who do.
Yeah, and I don't know how they do, I mean, everyone is different. I'm not, I'm, I don't have that capability, I can't see everything I see and know everything I know and keep my mouth shut and continue to just go along with things, I couldn't even keep my mouth shut by myself at the airport going through TSA, knowing that I was flying with medical cannabis in my bag and that they could possibly stop me and give me a hard time about it. I still couldn't keep my mouth shut about
Mm-hmm.
them having to frisk me because I have metal in my back,
Mm-hmm.
and why they needed to feel me up because of that, and I have a big mouth. I needed to speak out about that, because it fucking pisses me off and I don't feel like I need to get,
Oh, pisses me
groped.
off.
I get x-ray and then I get groped, you know?
It comes down to I'm just doing my job. Nobody thinks about anything. They're just hired to do a job and they get paid, and so they just do the job.
Yeah, those, if you feel good about that excuse, if you feel good about that, then, I feel sorry for you, if you can make excuses
Yeah, well,
like I'm just doing what I got to do, I got to make a living, well, I feel bad for you. I do.
yeah, because basically you're setting aside your ethics and your morals
Exactly.
for a paycheck.
Yep. Exactly.
Oh, I got here because I can't do it.
Yep. Yep. I
Single
can't.
job that I had a problem with because ethically.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Because yeah,
can't do that. I
and
can't
even
take money for things that I can't, I can't do that. It's like I told you, like my tarot readings, I haven't been able to take money for that. Times that me and my husband were homeless, staying in, people's guest rooms or sleeping in our car sometimes. And I still wouldn't take money for that because it's a gift and it's not something that I feel I can accept money for. I don't feel it's something I can trade money for. It's something that I feel I can give to other people, and that I'm a conduit that I get to share information with people, and that's it. It's not something I get to take money and benefit for. I don't get to do that.
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people have problem with money because they inherently know that money is wrong.
Yeah.
So this is why artists have to do their art, and they often give it away because that's part of what they have to do. That's their expression.
Yep.
And knowing that uh, part of who you are to somebody else is sharing part of who you are and how you see the world, and they
Yeah.
are enlightened by that sharing. That's why we're here in the first place.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
to take money for that, I mean, at the moment, because of the stupid paradigm that we're in, but then we all automatically feel bad about it, and it affects our work because of it. I mean, it just does. And other truthers talk about this too. I was just listening to Mia's new pair of glasses, and she was talking about this. And Jurassic Liars won't take money or anything, even gifts from people.
Yeah.
I think that there's nothing wrong with gifts. There's nothing wrong with taking money from people either, if you are not affecting your content.
Right.
Anyway, said
Yeah.
that before. But
Yeah,
I
it
want to
can't
go
be
back to
tied
the
up
chat for a
together.
second.
Mhm.
I want to go back to the chat for a second because Eternal Padawan was making a comment about relationships and saying that it's the same for men as it is for women, that they get chastised for not living up to the stereotype. And that's very true. And they feel shame for that. Whereas, I've met several men who have only had one relationship, or uh, have very limited experience with women for whatever reason, and sometimes it is religious, family upbringing, or any any particular reason. It's circumstantial, it doesn't really matter. And they get ridiculed because they are not a stud, which is messed up.
I had an ex like that, and he was never ridiculed, but he had shame, I guess, because he thought just because everyone around him was more experienced, and because I was a bit older than him, and I had more experience, and so he had a lot of shame with that. And I never even knew it was an issue until we split up, of which was a big issue in our relationship. He did not have the ability to communicate. We never had a fight in 3 years though, so woo, go us. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, it was a big issue for him, and I guess a major issue for him. And I had no idea. I had no idea that it was such an issue for him and affected him so much. Um, and it's unfortunate that he felt like he couldn't even talk to me about it in like 3 years, you know?
Yeah, I've met men who have shame about it too, and I don't care. I really don't care. I care if the guy I'm with has like 200 or
Right.
sexual partners,
Right.
but I don't care if he has one, or I mean, one is a little bit tough simply because
Yeah. Yeah,
I have
that was
more.
one.
One
Yeah.
one is very tough because they don't know how to relate to women.
Yeah.
I've dated guys who were divorced from their only relationship, and it is impossible just to talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just on different experience levels, like life experience levels. Because I find, for me, there's a lot of confidence that comes from putting yourself out there a lot and
Mhm.
getting heartbroken and
Mhm.
in relationships with different kinds of people.
Well, just the things you experience and the stumbles that happen along the way and the way that you grow from those stumbles and things like that. It's you miss out on things when you don't have those experiences.
Thanks, Max. He says this is the best show he's ever seen. Appreciate that.
Best show ever. All right.
Yes, I got my smile back, Rod. I
We
shifted
found
my
it.
energy.
We found it. We found it,
Yeah,
Poppy.
200, Lesia, that is a lot, right? But yeah, I think there's something to be said for experience levels
Yeah.
matching at some in some way. Um,
Yeah.
because if you're in a relationship you're in, and if you are somebody who is worldly and this person here hasn't traveled anywhere, completely different perspective on life, and it's not impossible, but it's difficult.
Yeah.
Who's read a lot and knows a lot, and you meet somebody who hasn't done any of that and isn't a book person or isn't interested in any of that, and all they do is watch the Kardashians, you're not going to relate.
Yeah.
Some
It's I
kind
mean
of,
there's some people who are
hey,
fine
Joker.
with there's some people who are fine with that sort of not lining up, but I don't think
the
people
the
like
teacher
us
and the student.
I don't think people like us are.
But that's not an equal relationship. That's a teacher and a student, or a master and a servant relationship. Every single time I have seen that, it is
Yeah.
about dominance.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It is. Yep.
They
You're
can't
right.
handle somebody who's on their level or slightly ahead of them, or
Yeah.
however you want to articulate that.
Yeah.
When they don't want to learn, they want to dominate because they want to be in the power position.
Yeah.
That's what that's about,
Yeah.
and that's not healthy.
No. No, I've been that. I've been the abused, and I've been the dominant person, choosing the to be the dominant person because I'd been abused, and
Hmm.
seeking out those types of relationships because um coming from the abused relationship, you're so wary of like not wanting to choose a guy that's the least bit like controlling, or end up going completely the other way, and
Thanks, Shibby.
you know I don't have
Exactly.
a
You need to
license
learn
or
the
a
lesson
job
of the
or
opposite.
yeah.
Lesson from
Yeah.
the opposite, because you've been in this situation and you hated it so much. You think you want the opposite, and so you need to learn that lesson to figure out
Yep.
what you really want, which is something in between.
Yeah.
Things to be learned in both sides.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, if you are lucky enough, you have a relationship where you continue to learn from each other, without it being a painful learning experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be reciprocal and loving and growing.
Mhm.
Relationships die when you start to what is missing, and you
Yeah.
stop appreciating each other, and you stop growing together and sharing things together. And if you are criticizing or belittling or saying, you don't do this for me and you don't do that for me,
Yeah. You can't
something that
need,
they
yeah, you
do
can't
do.
need, yeah, you can't need another person. You know, that's one of the key things, is needing another person for anything. Your
Right. And
happiness,
that
your
comes from
fulfillment. Yeah.
that comes from this detachment.
Yeah.
If you've worked on yourself and you've done your inner work and you're detached from the material, you're going to have a healthier relationship because you aren't relying on that person to give you something that you're lacking.
Yeah.
Fully appreciate each other, and you both have something to give each other because you yourself are full.
Yep. Yeah, it's like I told you when you
Because
were here, you know, it's, as much as I love my husband and he's great, you know, I self-contained unit, and everything else is fluff. Everything beyond this
yeah,
is bonus. And I don't need anything else. The minute I start feeling like I
yeah,
need anything else, I need to take a look at why, because that's a problem.
right. Hey, P900 Sandra. I totally agree. I mean, this is so most of my life I've dated a lot, and not had a fully satisfying relationship that I wanted to stay in for an extended period of time. And there's been relationships that have sort of been on and off over many years, but
Yeah.
um, they were what they were, and I'm appreciative of them, and I've learned a lot from them, and I have no hard feelings. Um, but I don't I don't feel I feel a little bit like relationship that I'm looking for lacking here right now.
Yeah.
And so
Puppy
I am
quit.
quite content.
Quit.
I'm quite content with my current status. I I'm perhaps a little too independent and to ask people for help and ask people to do things with me. Even girlfriends going out with friends, like just go because I think I just want to go to the movies and I don't
Yeah.
even think to ask anybody.
Yeah, that's how I am too. I just
And
do it and just, like, I don't think to like ask people to go shopping or stuff. I just go and get what I need and go home. Like,
oh, I don't shop with people. I can't I
yeah.
can't stand shopping with
It's so
people.
fucking annoying, right? Like, why would you want to go shopping with people? Like, why do people do that?
I'll go shopping in the sense that I don't have anything to buy, so I'm kind
Shopping.
of browsing and it's more entertainment, but I have stuff to do.
Yeah.
Stuff to do. I just want to get done and leave.
Like, get the shit and get the fuck out. There's there's no reason to like extend this torture. This is horrible.
I know. Yeah.
My
So
black
I think that
puppy.
there's there's a lot of work that needs to be done on relationships, and that we've been programmed to other person going wrong. It's always about blaming somebody else,
Yeah.
changing yourself.
Yeah. That's the
Not to
biggest
say that
thing.
you're at fault. You're not. It's not about who's
It's
at
not about
fault.
fault or
It's
blame.
about saying,
Just, yeah, it's, this is about evolving though, you know, it's not about blame. It's not about whose fault it is. It's about an opportunity to improve oneself, you know, it's about another situation to hold the mirror up, you know, and look at oneself and go, okay, I can improve this, you know, because you know the best that I can be, the most that I can raise my vibration, means the better opportunity I have to not get stuck in this recycling bin again. You know,
yeah,
that's
um,
to me, that is the ultimate goal, is to not get stuck here another fucking 1,000 years. Like, that's the way I see it.
Yeah, and try to have a little bit of fun along the way. I mean,
Exactly. Take as many
I
people out of here with me as I can. Get the hell out of
and
here and have fun.
I think
Right, coffee?
when you're constantly focused on your partner and what they're doing wrong, you can't see what they're doing right.
Yeah.
So you are focused on resentment rather than love.
Yeah.
Being in any relationship is that person. So you should be focused on liking them.
Yeah.
Even if that person isn't right for you, at least you can still part in love.
Mhm.
Be
Yeah.
it and say, you know what, your company, but this just isn't a good fit, or whatever the situation is. Mutually move apart, but you can still about that person. There doesn't have to be. There's so much drama in relationships where people, especially, you get hurt. Guys tend to sort of cowardly back out of relationships without talking about things.
Yeah.
Boom,
Yeah.
dinging.
They do a lot of self-destruct type of things, because they don't know how to say, hey, I'm not this, or I'm not this. They do self-destruct shit.
They do. Yeah. And if you put on emphasis on communication, benefit of the doubt,
What is it?
and
Coffee.
being loving, talking about things
I
and
have
saying,
to let
listen, like,
Poppy out. One
what
second. I
I'm
have to let
thinking,
Poppy
am I
out.
wrong?
1 second.
Yeah, Joker, you were talking about people go to online for a quick fix. I had a really negative experience, a couple of guys who were online dating, and their attitude about women is just, they treat it like takeout. They order women online and have them come to hotel rooms or their apartments and have sex with them, and I
Which
just
is
think
super
that's
gross.
absolutely disgusting.
Mhm.
About like basically Tinder type apps.
Yeah, Tinder is so degrading. It is just,
And people wonder why I don't date
yeah, yeah.
this shit.
Or I've heard so
I
many
don't want to deal
times,
with
like,
this
people
garbage.
people talking about dating, and then people suggesting you get on Tinder, and I'm like, you would really, like, suggest that to another person? It's
They've obviously
horrible.
not been on Tinder.
Yeah, that's just horrible. Like, yeah, that's a good way to find somebody, or just to feel like shit about yourself. Yeah, let's do that. Do that. Do
Joker's
that.
right. There are a lot of women like that too. Women
There are.
uh,
Absolutely. I mean,
also order men online. So,
yeah, from one perspective. So, it goes absolutely both ways, 100%.
oh,
It's
absolutely,
just
yeah.
it's just more, there are far more women for sale than there are men, and that's just the facts of it.
Yeah, I fully appreciate the men in the chat giving their perspective, because obviously we're women and we see things from our perspective. But I have a lot of male friends who do share their perspective on dating, and a lot of them have no idea to women. They supposed to do one thing and they try it and they get shut down and then they're fearful and then they get hurt and they're just terrified.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
we should be able to speak, like when you're at school dance, school, the boys are on one side of the
yep,
gym and the girls at the other side of the gym, and that's basically life right there.
yeah, yep, yep. And everybody's afraid, and everyone is afraid.
Yeah.
Everyone's afraid and wearing really uncomfortable clothes. And there's bad
Yeah.
music on and
Oh
shitty
man.
lighting. Yep, that is life. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
you've summed it up well.
there's got to be this investment in loving one another and being kind to one another and
Yeah,
of this superficial nonsense about how people look all the time and
right.
just looking for shallow relationships that are 100% physical.
Well, I mean, people need to come into the awareness that we are truly connected. All of us are truly connected. Um,
Mhm.
it's much harder to treat you like shit if I have the deep understanding that we are connected, that you are a part of me. So to treat you badly is to treat myself badly. And if I have done the work on myself and I love myself, then I cannot do that. It's,
Yep.
there was a doco that I watched. I think it was Showtime, maybe it was HBO, but it was a guy who woke up one day with all these psychic abilities. Like he could see spirits of people that had passed. He could see all this shit. Totally freaked him out. He went to psychiatrists. He went to doctors. Got all these tests done. He finally ended up at like, what the hell, I'm like clairvoyant and medium. One of the things he could see, though, that was super interesting is he could see a line connecting all the people together. And to him, it was one of the most profound things that he saw, is how everyone
Mhm.
was completely connected. And he was talking about like how he wished he could pull back and just completely see it, but it changed him because everyone is connected. We are all a part of each other. So I have
Well, this
to.
is why when you
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that this is why when you insult someone, it hurts you too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why you feel disgusted with yourself when you treat someone badly.
Yeah.
Because it's like treating yourself badly. We are all connected. And that's
Yep.
why everything we do should come from a place of love and compassion, because
Mhm.
it's all, we're all, every action is towards the same being. Basically what it comes down to. It's all
Yeah,
towards
and
the
that
same
being
being.
is you.
Yep. We're all part of one. Even if you
Yeah.
don't feel connected, we are, you know.
Well,
Even,
this is the core root as to why this realm is based on separation and division,
yep. They've worked very
based on the
hard to make
external.
sure that we don't feel connected. And, you know,
Right, because it keeps us focused on the external. I am not you. I am not this. I am
yep.
not that. I am
I
me.
don't
I
look
am
like
this.
I don't look like this. I'm unique. I'm this. Yeah. Mhm. I am different. I'm
And
special.
once you realize that we are all connected, I'm not saying we are all the same. We are all connected.
Yeah. Yep.
Then you can let go of that I amness,
Yeah.
that ego,
Yeah. They use these
that
different,
separation.
yeah, these different things to try and make us feel like we aren't connected, but we are. And it's important that we are. I think it's one of the most important truths there is.
Yeah, absolutely, it's important. Um, because you are automatically kinder to one another.
And that is so important.
This is why I can't tolerate all the trolling that's going on. I just don't understand it. It is all ego nonsense.
Oh.
It's them coming on our channel thinking they know better, thinking they've got some piece of information, some piece of wisdom that's
You're
gonna
gonna tell
shut us
me.
down and go, oh my God, you're so right.
You're right. You told
On
me.
all this
You
time.
put me in my place. Ugh. I've been going at this for
Yeah.
months, but you told me. Your one comment shut me down.
Oh, I better take my channel down.
Why didn't I see the light sooner?
Well,
Nice try.
it's mind-boggling. I've been point, but it's about trolling. But listening a lot to Bro Sanchez's debates with Globers. They're highly entertaining.
I have a really good one that I recorded when I was doing some work for a friend, and the the other guy, his business partner, was like hardcore like Glober, and he found out I was a flat earther and just wanted to debate me like the whole time. And so I just put my phone on record and just recorded like 2 hours of shit. And it's amazing. I just haven't gone through and edited and put it together and made a video, but wow, there are some moments in there, let me tell you.
Just air the whole thing.
Yeah, I could do that. I could just put the whole thing out.
Or through the dead bits. Just air the whole thing. It's more
Oh
important
god,
that it gets up
it just
than it's
takes so,
done perfectly.
I know. It just takes so long to process because Johnny went and changed my bit rate.
Oh.
It takes like 6 hours to put out. It takes so long
Well,
already.
the reason I bring up these debates that Bro Sanchez has is because it is remarkable psychology, and he's realizing this stuff as he's listening to these Globers debate, and they don't bring up any facts, they don't bring any proof.
Yeah.
Basically, around the question, and Bro Sanchez is like, hold on, hold on, hold on. This is scaring me now. Like, they think like this. Like, this is beyond programming.
Yeah.
Scary shit. And then the other panelists are like, yeah, I'm starting to get scared too. Like, there's something else happening here. Like, I'm starting to think that these people are actually stupid. Like, there's all sorts of that he gets with these people.
It's creepy. It's like word for word and like same vocal inflections and shit. It's weird.
Yeah, and they can't get past a point.
Mm-hmm.
Pick a
Mm-hmm.
point. And because Bro Sanchez will say, no, 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 hold on, hold on, hold on. Gravity. You haven't proved gravity. We're not leaving until you prove gravity. And this guy is like, well, I want you to look at the southern stars.
Right.
I'm not talking about the southern stars. You haven't proved gravity. Until you
Right.
prove gravity, we're not moving on.
Oh, I love him for it. I love him for it. That's so great.
Ah, I love that's what they do. They're like, oh, look over here. And then they try and fool you with some stupid ass comment that has absolutely nothing to do with what you were talking about before.
Night, Leslie White.
Yeah.
Good night. Yeah, that's what they do. It's like the bait and switch constantly. Try to confuse you. Like, oh, what
Entertaining.
about this? What about
But it's
this?
also
What about this? What about this? Oh, piss off.
it's really entertaining, but it's also frustrating to listen to. It's just the number of times I said "fucking moron."
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
There's certain points that they just don't even listen to themselves.
yeah. What about
hear
prove
the
this?
insanity.
Prove this. Prove this.
Yeah,
You need to prove
exactly.
this to me. I'm like, you need to go prove this to me. Fuck you. Prove the moon landings to me, and then we can talk. Prove to me how they got through the Van Allen radiation belt. We can talk.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know what
Booker's
those
not a flat
are?
earther.
You don't know what those are? Okay. I guess I could educate you on that one thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I
funny how
mean,
no
there
Clovers seem to know what those are.
uh it's just mind-boggling.
I know.
Like it's so obvious that there's certain people who are just not meant to wake up.
Nope.
They're
Nope.
just here to perpetuate the matrix.
Yep. Just keep it going. Keep feeding it. Just feed the matrix.
And what gets me is that they don't offer, they're the first ones to hurtle insults
Yep. Yeah.
at you, and they'll and deflect and
Yeah.
getting it. You're not hearing my point. No, we hear your point. I'm
Yeah.
getting it.
The programming is strong in those ones, man. Strong. Because they're the first ones to go at it. And I know because they go after me all the time.
Joker says I'm not a flat earther and I can't see the curve.
He's a flat earther inside. He just hasn't broken the shell
I,
yet.
the flat earth closet yet.
He hasn't broken the shiny shell yet.
Yeah. Or welcome to the rainbow realm. I don't know. I don't. There are people I know talk to who don't see it, and that's fine, or they haven't come across it, and open to a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Because of that, I'm able to connect with them and talk to them. But time when they start talking about like space and aliens and all that,
Yeah. Yeah, I have a hard time with that too. I have an especially hard time with that one. Because of my past experience, I have a very hard time with that one. People start talking about aliens and factions of aliens and invasions.
I'm not saying
I'm
there
like,
there are no aliens. I think there are interdimensional beings.
exactly. Yes. There's no ship out there about to attack. Like, please shut the fuck up because you need to stop. You need to do more research and
Yeah.
stop.
And there's no life on Mars, the planet, because Mars, the planet, doesn't exist.
Nope. Nope. You
But
need to
there
do more research.
is
Oil paintings are pretty. Oil paintings are fun. We all like oil
Elon
paintings.
Musk is going to cry a lot when he realizes that he's been wrong all this time.
Poor Elon Musk. It was hard to see that happen.
I believe he cried, and it was really bad.
Oh my god, that was the worst fake cry. Like, get my fake tears over here now, woman. God, he is the worst. Oh, he's the worst. I'm talking about you, Elon Musk. I'm talking about you. Yeah, we go way back.
He's such
Me
a
and SpaceX.
robot.
SpaceX hates me.
But
Then the robot that hates AI.
robot who hates AI, but he's investing in AI. So how much does he actually hate it?
I know, he's
He's
so full of
investing
shit. It's unbelievable. Oh,
for it.
he's unbelievable. He is.
AI because he wants it to be good.
He wants it to be perfect. We can't have AI unless it's
Good is
perfect.
relative.
Yeah.
Relative. If
You
you
know what?
are
AI
you
can
are
actually
techno
be really good as
evil,
no AI, so
Say that again.
I said the only AI I consider good is no AI. So, you know, it's all relative.
Exactly. And he think if you're on the wrong team, you're and are evil, but you think they're beneficial. Rationalize anything. You can rationalize murder. You can rationalize genocide. You can rationalize war. You can rationalize anything and make it good. Oh, it's for the good of humanity in at large.
Yeah.
Still evil. We know he's on the wrong side.
Mhm.
Sides.
Mhm.
We
Which
are.
yeah. 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 Wrong. Yeah. He's not just
Hold
on
on
the
a second.
what?
I'm gonna get some water.
Okay. I was just gonna say he's not just on a suspicious shelf. Uh, he is labeled as not to be trusted. And after our little field trip to SpaceX, with the with all the kids working there for free.
Interns.
The
Me.
interns. Yeah, all the interns. All the interns. It just, oh, it turns my stomach. All those kids working for free there. Oh my God. They all believe in space. They all think they're going to fucking go to Mars someday. Like,
uh, be the dumbest people or the most brainwashed.
I know. It's terrible. It's terrible. It makes me very upset. I really want to go back to SpaceX again. I want to
So
hand out flyers or something.
flat Earth flyers.
Yes. I want to educate the
Yeah,
millennials that are working for free.
we should get our flat Earth army out there and have picket signs.
Right?
Tell
Yeah.
them,
We need
yeah,
to have
hold
signs out
up.
there. You
Think
don't
you're
have to live
doing?
on the globe. It's not real. Come off the globe.
What do you What do you think you're doing?
It's not real. Come to mama. Come onto the flat earth. It's safe. There's no gravity here.
Safe and it's wonderful. There's no gravity and there's no planets and there's no meteorites and nothing's going to from
Nothing's gonna
space
suck
and
you into
destroy us.
space. No black hole will suck you into space. Nothing's going to eat you up, I promise. uh,
I know. That's the thing. Like when I first found out about flat Earth, I felt powerful. I
yeah,
felt loved
yeah,
about all of the evil, and I was like, "Damn!"
yeah, yeah. It was after I got over the initial like, oh my god, what the hell is reality? Um,
Mhm.
it felt good. I started seeing everything different and everything became more and more empowering. And it's been
Mhm.
that way consistently through this whole time. I've never
Yeah.
lost that feeling. Even truths that have been painful, I still feel empowered by it because
Mhm.
I know that I am finding the truth, and every bit takes me closer to knowing the true reality.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's like when you sent me that video of the amateur rocket, you know, even though I've seen those before, you know, it still makes you cry because it's like you get a little glimpse of our flat earth, and it's like, fuck, I'm right, you know, and it's, you get a moment of, I'm right. And it feels really good.
Well, what else makes me feel good? I love seeing pictures of Earth from a rocket or a balloon.
Hmm.
Really moves me are the people who are doing it,
Yeah.
because that is the power that we have,
Yep.
that we are coming together and doing this stuff to take back our authority, to coming together in love, and people are investing in this stuff with their own money, anything else out of it, in the sense that they're not going to profit from it. It's something that they have to do to prove and share with other people.
Yep.
Look, this is where we live, and isn't it freaking fantastic?
Isn't
This
this
is the
amazing?
power that we have.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't this fucking amazing? Yeah. Yep.
And this is the thing that we have to harness and bring together
Yeah.
ways and put out there.
Yeah.
And to do that on here, but I'm talking about in physical reality. We need to get together and things that show people the tremendous power that is in that. And it's just this intangible thing. Being is our value. Being is our strength.
Yeah. And
You
and we are powerful beings. So everything that we can do when we get together, it's amplified by 100. It's not just doubled, it's amplified by 100. So there are things that we haven't even imagined yet that we can do when we get together. We don't even know
well,
yet.
because no, because we've been trained into this container that we're in. This is basically Tupperware.
Yep.
Like we're
Fucking
so
Tupperware, man. We're putting Tupperware and duct
we have
tape closed. Thrown on the shelf. Yeah. Bullshit. Let's bust out of the Tupperware.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we don't know what we're capable of because we're told that this is all there is. This
Yeah.
body.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
and
I
that
have
body is
noticed.
totally limited, and it's not, you know. The limits have been placed upon
Oh,
it,
for
but they're
sure.
artificial, you know. The
Well, one
limits
of
are
the things that I've
artificial.
noticed, going back to the point that discussing earlier about nutrition, since I stopped, first of all, drinking alcohol, and I wasn't like an alcoholic. I was drinking wine, 1 or 2 glasses a day. Like during the whole flat Earth revelation, truth revelation, I was drinking fairly regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I don't need this anymore. I don't want it anymore, and it just sort of went away.
Yeah.
Feel so much stronger. I have way more strength.
Yeah.
A lot of that comes from your vibration rising. So
Yep.
imagine rises to the point where we have tremendous strength, and
Yep.
we have records of people lifting cars. Their frequency is up here, and that is not something that normally we think we can do. But if you're not
Right.
thinking about it and your child is trapped under there, god damn it, you're going to lift that car.
Right. Yeah, we think that these are things that are just rare things that happen on these momentous occasions, you know. And I had an incident like that where my daughter was trapped underneath a dresser, and I like flung this dresser like halfway across the room. It was a dresser that I could barely
Yeah.
lift on my own. But in the moment, I had
Yeah,
the
because you're
ability
not
to do
thinking about it
this.
too much.
Right, because you don't
You're
think
not
about
thinking
the
about it
fact
too
that
much.
you can't do it. You don't think about
Exactly.
the limitations that this body, that this existence, that, you know, physics tells you that you have. You don't think about any of those, you just do. And that is the key,
Right.
because we can just do. We can do great things when we just do,
Yeah.
especially when
Yeah.
we are um, vibrating at a higher frequency, which, you know, we're all either at, working towards, what have you, you know.
Mhm. Yeah. It's interesting because this whole topic of activism is like there's so much, and um, yet when it comes to making a definitive list, it's very intangible. It's very difficult to pinpoint exactly what we should be doing.
Well, that's, I think that's important though, because I think when we have a tangible list, again, that's something that can be hijacked, you know. And I think
Yeah.
that's why this is, I feel like things are going to be sort of a step by step by step, and it's going to happen that way because it has to, in order to
Mhm.
protect it, you know. Like,
In
we'll know the next thing when the next thing comes, because that's the safest way to protect everything so that it can continue.
Right. And so building on that, one of the things that the old paradigm focuses on is a plan. Business plans, 5-year plans,
Right. Where are you going with this?
plan
What's your directions? What's your direction? What are you doing?
planning your planning your child's future, planning your school, plan like all of it. It's all about planning. It's never about
Hmm.
now.
Yep.
What we have to do is get back to now and spontaneity and disorder
Right.
and being in tune with your intuition, because that's what guides you, and being able to instinctively in the moment make quick decisions that are right for you, not based on fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more that we practice this way, the plans, like when I left the corporate world, I got rid of my watch,
Hmm.
let go of time. Like,
Hmm.
I have
Oh,
zero
that was,
concept of time.
yeah. I haven't owned a clock in, outside of the one on my cell phone, in over 15 years now, 17 years.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I don't deal with clocks, and I don't deal with watches, and I mean, I regard it when I need to be somewhere or I need to do certain things within a certain period to
Yep.
be somewhere. I
And
go
deal with
on
it
how I feel.
minimally, as little as possible.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Because
And
it's a
I go
man-made
on how I
construct.
feel.
Yeah.
So if the and also the we've also been trained into doing repetitive habits and
Hmm.
making habit of things like getting up in the morning and doing this, that, and the other. Well, what if you
Hmm.
didn't do that?
Right.
Decided that you were going to get up later or get up earlier, or you were going to read a book in the morning, or you're going to not take a shower, or
Hmm.
like change it up every day, go on based on how you feel
Yep.
different. And if you're starting your day different, you get into the rhythm of doing things differently, and the rest of your day becomes different, and then the rest of your week becomes different, and then different things, different experiences come into your life. And this is what Stranger Than Fiction was about. This guy had this habitual routine, and then he started to throw it away. Experiences came into his life.
Yeah.
And you would be amazed at how easy it is practicing routine in one aspect of your life, and how it bleeds into other aspects of your life, and how new opportunities come your way.
Yeah, it's stepping out of fear, you know? I mean, we have routines to keep everything in line, you know, because we're afraid of the things that will happen when we don't have a plan, you know? We're afraid of complications. We're afraid of mistakes. We're afraid of missteps. Those are good things.
Yeah, they are good things. And uh, Matt was talking about how he was in high school and it didn't occur to him to drop out of football. And when that occurred to him, he's like, "What do you mean? I can just not go anymore?" It changed everything for him.
Right.
And there was I mean, this is a silly little thing, but I was in the routine of cleaning my room and making sure it was neat and tidy all the time. And one day I'm like, why am I doing this? And I just stopped. And I was like, what if I just drop this on the floor and leave it there? What would happen? But it was a small thing, but it broke the pattern.
Right.
Those are the things we need to do. It's like, well, I was cleaning my house regularly. My mom's like, why are you doing that? It's just you living there. How about you not do it every week? And I was like, clean the house every week.
Yeah, I had the same thing about like, you know, getting up and sleeping and being on like this certain time, and then when I had the stuff with my neurological thing go really wacky, and then I couldn't sleep for more than 2 hours at a time, and so I was like going to bed at like 6 o'clock at night, and like it got really weird, and I had to change my whole perception of like bedtime and awake time and all of that. Totally threw it out the window, and it was really good for me because I don't have that now. It's like whenever sleep or awake is fine. It doesn't matter if it's like daytime or nighttime or whatever. It's whenever it happens. Um, I don't feel the need to have set time frames for those things.
Right.
You know, like if I went to bed right now, that would be fine. If it happened 8 hours from now, that would be fine as well. You know, like
Mm.
either wouldn't matter. I mean, I have a migraine coming on, so it's more
Yeah.
likely to happen now instead of later, but like I don't limit myself in any of those things because it's it's part of the construct, you know, it's and not something I want to be tied to, and I didn't know that that's what I was doing before when I
Hmm.
started doing it, but there was something on a subconscious level that started untying me from these things before I was even aware of that's what was happening.
Yeah. There's little things. I mean, these little things, if they seem like nothing, but they're everything.
Mm-hmm. Very,
Pattern.
very important. Yeah. Things that started
And it,
removing me, and I'm grateful for them. Yeah.
well, this is the thing, is that people idea in their head that there's some massive thing that we have to do to release ourselves from this these
Yeah.
techno evils have on us.
Yeah.
And there isn't. It's little things. It's
Mm-hmm.
individual things. It's coming together. It's being kinder to one another. It's stopping obeying. It's
Yeah.
stopping buying shit you don't need. It's
Yeah.
stopping like starting to think for yourself. Do I
Yeah.
actually need this?
Yeah.
It's doing things differently. It's letting go of all sorts of unnecessary shit. And those are simple things that you can do. And so people get this idea in their head that, well, we can't go up against this superpower because they're everywhere and they dominate us and they have control over us, and they immediately have this block against do to change anything. Little old me, just one person. Well, one person, whole energy field, and your change in the presence of other people, just being in somebody else's presence, if your vibration and your energy has shifted, people feel that them, and so that causes them to change and reflect upon themselves, whether they're
Small
aware of it
change
or
is
not.
empowering. Small change is empowering. You know, even the littlest things can
Exactly.
be greatly empowering.
Mhm.
I
Yep.
mean, trust me, telling a cop to go fuck himself
Yep.
was so empowering. I grew like 3 inches that day. I haven't lost him yet.
Nice.
I mean, police have such a power over us in this country, and it's become, to where you don't know if you're going to get murdered if you speak out. And to learn that we have the power to speak out and that we can and should, and I do. And,
Mhm.
you got to experience that while you were here, with Johnny, and it's empowering, and
It is. I think the biggest, I mean, part of the deception is believing that they have authority over us, and they
yeah,
don't,
exactly,
unless
exactly,
we allow them to have authority over us by saying, when they say, "Do you understand?" and then you
yeah,
agree and you stand under their authority.
yeah. You say, I hear you. Yeah,
Yeah, I hear you. I heard you.
I hear your words.
But you don't rule over me.
Yeah, yep,
And the thing is, the problem is the fine line between that, uh, our citizenship that has made us signatory to this law system that has been put in place, that we have been duped into agreeing with, being a citizen here. So do have authority over us because we have given them that permission. However,
yeah,
as to what they can and cannot do, and we need to understand what those limits are.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's
They're
knowledge is
not
power.
like they're not our enemy. They just don't understand. There are some good cops. I've met a lot of good cops, and maybe it's different because I'm a white female, and living in Canada.
Yeah,
Um,
yes, it is different, I mean,
yeah, because I've also met black women and black men in Canada who have had really bad experiences with cops.
yeah, it is different, and it depends. And there are some good cops, but the does the good outweigh the bad anymore? No. No, I don't think so. I think that
No,
the
because
scales have
they're
tipped
getting
the other
conditioned.
way, and I think that that's been intentional. And they've actively sought out hiring, psychopaths and sociopaths and low IQ people because they're easy to manipulate to treat us this way, because this is the setup they want. They want us afraid, and which is why it's important for the few of us that speak out to speak out. It's an important
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, there are a lot of people who are taking that on as their mission in life, and all the power to them, because it's not an easy path.
Yeah,
And deal with the blowback of trying to declare sovereignty and trying to assert your
Yeah.
against a system that's so archaic, that's so brainwashed, easy road. And especially, it's not even just the brainwashed, the society that's been brainwashed. I mean, you look at some of these cop videos of these people who are declaring their sovereignty. They don't understand what sovereignty is.
Yeah.
Person who's in the old paradigm mind and saying they deserve to get beat up.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's it. Sovereignty is a very dangerous word to use in the presence of police. Very dangerous.
Yeah.
So I do not recommend it.
No.
Do not use that
Unless
word.
you're looking for a fight.
Yeah, if you want to get the shit kicked out of you, if you want to do that, then yes, claim sovereignty. But yeah, because then basically, no laws apply, and equally the Constitution does not protect you. So yeah, not good. Not good.
Yeah, it's a whole other
Even I
kettle of
wouldn't do
worms.
that.
Yeah.
Even I wouldn't do that one. So yeah.
Kettle of worms. Kettle of fish, can of worms. Mixing my metaphors.
Sure. We can have kettles of
All right.
worms.
Kettles of worms.
Oh, I'm tired. Okay. I gotta end. I'm sleepers. I'm tired.
Okie doke.
I gotta eat the second dinner that my husband bought for me.
Oh, good. Hopefully it's still there and intact.
I really hope it's still out there. I'm gonna be really upset if my roommate's dogs ate my dinner for the second time. That would be a tragedy beyond tragedies. And
It
I'd
would
also
be.
be very upset at my husband for leaving it out there for them to eat. I'd be so pissed off.
Oh, I know. I know.
Oh, you'd get texts in all caps coming. If you see all caps, just know what happened. You don't even need to read it.
Okay, I'll let you just text me and I won't respond.
Oh, okay. This has
All
been
right.
fun.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have more chats about this, and we'll invite other people to join us so Wobbly can get his piece.
Yes. Yes, we need to get Wobbly in
There,
here.
yeah, and
Chat with
HiCom,
Wobbly.
I him if he's interested, and anybody else in the chat room who's interested in talking about activism for like Flat Realm Activism.
Yeah.
Chats about this because I think it is extremely important, and
Yeah,
so I'm gonna make regular chats about it.
awesome. I love you, Joker.
Yeah.
You're the man.
But
All right. Yeah. Awesome. Count
excellent
me
is
in.
in. So
All
if
right.
you're in the chat and you're listening and you're interested, just email me at truelovecanada7117@gmail.com and let me know. Yes, you were wobbly. Don't lie. We know you were
I know you were
crying.
crying. You were in the fetal position. You were crying. You're rocking yourself.
Yes.
I saw it all with my mind's eye. Come
Yes.
on. You can't fool me.
I know. I can
Sees
feel the
all.
tears.
Sees all. Oh,
Guys, thank you for your contributions in the chat room. I really appreciate it. Would
yeah,
love it
you
if
guys are
Joker wants to
amazing.
join, obviously. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm off to bed. Much love to you all.
All
And
right.
especially you,
Yep.
Yolanda.
This was highly satisfying. Thank you. Love you.
Thank you. Love you. All right. Night, night then.
Good night.
Night,
Love
night.
everybody in the chat room. Good night.
Bye.